Greetings.
Greetings.
With the sentiments of my mind and heart, I greet you and I welcome you for this invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Acharya
Vimalananda.
Vimalananda Avaduta.
Yes.
Maybe for myself and many of our listeners who don't know really what Ananda Marga is, I know it is a path of bliss. If you could tell us what does that mean and what does Ananda Marga kind of encapsulate?
Bliss is a state of mind where neurons are not involved. Usually, mind works with the help of brain. So, wherever anything involves neurons, uh, they are going in the area of pain and pleasure, even happiness is involved with pain and pleasure. But bliss is some state of mind where mind is almost uh, separated from the brain itself. It's above the brain, not physically above the brain. It remains, but yes, it does not depend on the neuronal activities. So, if your mind can get into that state, that's a very blissful state, and that is now what is known as Ananda.
Ananda. Okay.
In in Sanskrit, uh, or even in English, pleasure has its opposite, pain. When pleasure is missing, pain follows. And any other, you know, that kind of happiness uh, coming from material objects or coming from environment or coming from friends or colleagues or company of people or in the nature, when those things are missing, then we have a pain of missing. So the more deep you have it in your memory, the more deep will also we will be missing it more deeply. So actually, it becomes almost equal. Pain and pleasure becomes equal and equal.
Mm.
But bliss is something beyond, non-material. Anything is not involved. What is involved is purity. Okay? So when your mind reaches the purest state, what kind of happiness you get there? That is bliss. That's Ananda. And it is known as pleasure in its infinite range, where it does not end. There is no end to it. Marga, the way of life, the way of living, uh, which can produce that kind of happiness to you. And your mind can always dwell in that or enjoy that state anytime. So gradually, by practicing, you go into that state that you are always. The more you practice, the more it comes within your, handling. Anytime you can get into that state.
Well, it takes time. It's a lifetime of practice and dedication for any type of practice of this nature, I believe.
Yeah, but practice also makes something perfect, right?
Yes. Can anyone reach this state by doing the practices of Ananda Marga?
Anyone who has a human framework can achieve this.
Mm.
Anyone, and it's a practical thing. It's called Tantra. Practice of Tantra. Tantra means it's not a belief system. The more you practice, the more outcome you get.
Mm.
So anyone who has a human frame can practice it because humans and non-humans, almost all non-humans, they walk horizontal to the ground, but humans are like that. You see. So this chakra here, plexus here, the brain is open to the universe, infinity. When we are small infant, when we are born, You know, there's one suture here, there's one opening here. Now it will fluctuate like that. You
Correct.
know. That is known as, in Sanskrit, it is known as Brahma Randhra. Brahma means infinity, Randhra means the suture, the opening.
Mm,
So it is opening to connect with the infinity. Later, when we grow and our mind gets more involved in the interaction with the world, this closes. Okay. And then our consciousness, our mind, is no more connected with the universe. It remains within this framework. So we got separated from that infinite experiences. And that is universal. It has nothing to do with the religion.
right.
All human beings have this.
Yeah. The cranial bones refuse together as you
Exactly.
get older, but as a child,
Yes,
they're very soft and malleable. As an infant, you
exactly.
know.
Exactly.
Right. So the Ananda Marga practices, which we'll discuss in a little bit, they enable one to reopen those so that the energy can open to the universe again or the spirit.
Something which is physically deformed, it cannot be again reverted back. So your mind has to simply expand itself beyond the body.
Mm,
You
okay.
cannot open it again to get out, no need. Your mind can project itself. Like now I am sitting here and I can see my friends, I can see my guru, I can see my ashram, other places. Mind can be projected. So the same mind, if the mind can be projected to infinity, then you will have the same experience.
You're saying a lot of deep things that I want to comment on or ask about. Um, so when you say the mind can be projected, you can see your ashram, you can see your friends, you can see your home. Um, is that just the visualizations we get in our mind, or our imagination? You know, I can picture my parents in my mind, but that doesn't mean I've projected past the visual dream, mental image state to a more spiritual state.
Well, it is part of both.
Mm,
Yes. Once you do sadhana, once you do meditation, you can be sitting still at one place, but your mind can be going to different places too. But if your mind is connected with the senses, then mind remains grounded to the
mm,
locality wherever you are.
right.
But if your sensory organs and motor organs are all put to rest, like eyes are closed, paying no attention to ears, mouth is closed, everything is closed, then your mind can move out and can project
Mm,
yourself. It can expand, expand, expand.
right. So it requires meditation and other practices to kind of
Yes,
dissolve the world, the material world, and
yes,
project into the cosmic conscious world that is not of
exactly.
of the material world here that we live in.
Yes,
Mm. So the founder of Ananda Marga was Sri Sri Anandamurti,
yes.
and
G.
when he
Sri
was
Sri Anandamurti G. Respect.
Anandamurti Ji for
Yeah,
respect, yes, sir.
yeah,
When Anandamurti Ji was creating, so he founded this movement of Ananda Marga in 1955, I believe. When he
yes.
did that, was he responding to a spiritual need within India or a social need that something needed to shift and that he had to create something that was different from Advaita Vedanta or yoga or other traditions that were present already?
See, a philosopher or a thinker always gives the idea or theories or thoughts for projected future. You see, always. Okay? And in this tradition, we have three, two before Anandamurti. One is Krishna and one is Shiva.
Sure.
He in that tradition. He comes in that tradition of Shiva and
Mm,
Krishna. And that was already mentioned in one of the Supreme Court of India rulings, where they have discussed this matter that Anandamurti's activities and his teachings and everything falls in the category of Shiva and Krishna. Okay? So when you go to those two entities, Shiva and Krishna, it is different. They come They are born for the sake of creation on the planet, evolutionary needs of the planet. You see. So there was a time that humanity has gone through so many difficult times. World War One, World War Two, you see, and before that, before pre-industrial area times, and so much difficult times have had. But then, what will be the future? You see, so he saw that humanism is almost becoming uh, outlived. People are misinterpreting, and human mind has evolved further, and humanism is not enough for the human beings. In the matter of, in the theory of humanism, human beings are the prime. Human are the measure of everything. You see. But no, he says that humans cannot exist alone. You see. So human love and human concern has to go beyond the human needs. So humans should not be the measure of all things. Rather, the entire creation should be the measure of all. So when human love and human affection could include all what exists in the human level or non-human level, even the living, non-living plants, animals, all, if you can consider everything part of your family and concern, your love, that kind of human mindset will be the ultimate expansion of human, you know, concern. That's what he also called Neohumanism. So he says that human existence cannot be now kept like we are humans and they're non-humans and we can enjoy them and then no. Humans are product of evolution. And in that product of evolution, everyone and everything has played its role. See? So if you can remove those things from around you, your evolution will also be demolished. So there was a need to redefine the human purpose and human potentials and human philosophy to move forward. So he came for that purpose that on this planet, let humanity be all moving with one philosophy. There was a time, Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy, right? And humans always moved with philosophy because humans are, Anand Murthy said that humans are not like any other forms of life. Very nicely, he says that that impacted me very much. You know who you are, but a cow does not know what she is and who she is. This thing, self-reflective mind, is a speciality of human beings only. You see, no other creatures have got reflective mind that you can see yourself, you can judge yourself. Okay? The more you know yourself, the more you know the world. The little you know yourself, the little you know. So he came to give a proper or more enhanced philosophy of living to the human beings. Because we have gone that advanced, and if we don't have a better philosophy of living, we will start damaging ourselves. You can see now, everyone is sitting on button. They're ready to push the button for
Yeah.
what was the self-destruction. There's no other way for them. They don't know what to do next. So just destroy and then we rebuild again, become busy to rebuild everything. I was saying, no, that's unnatural. Evolution does not go backward. Why do you destroy yourself? You do not create everything. So how can you think of planning to destroy everything and rebuild? So he was loving. Out of his love for humanity and creation on this planet, he came and he started redefining everything. He redefined human purpose life and he started giving the whole thing and a practical thing to realize that philosophy in your life. Not like philosophy to read from the book, but a living philosophy in your life. So he was of that tradition. He was a
Mm,
different kind of personality. He was not like one of us becoming Buddha. No, he was cosmic mind becoming a human
mm,
and living with us. Yes.
right, right. So is Ananda Marga considered a philosophy or a religion based on a philosophy of living? Like,
No,
is
actually,
it thought of either way?
well, in today's measurement, there is no other term for something beyond religion.
Right,
So you can only call it a religion when it does not fit in only philosophy. It's more than philosophy. It's more than anything else. So it is spiritual. So it is religious. Something which becomes a spiritual, something which talks about God already becomes religious.
right.
So these are the categories. So we have to put Anand Marga, the Supreme Court of India judges were, you know, evaluating Anand Marga, and then they said, well, because they talk of God, they talk of philosophy of living, they talk of new ethics, new morality, so they fit in the category of religion.
Which really it
Although
sounds
we
like a path of self-realization,
exactly, yeah,
not necessarily a religion per se. Uh,
it's a rational, it is evolutionary new expansion of human, definition of life. Every human being, you or me or anyone, as we grow into adolescence, a time comes between the age of 16 and 19. These 3 years are very crucial. These 3 years, we start reflecting and we start thinking, what is this life all about? Who defines what is right, what is wrong? If I do this, why should become wrong? Who is the one deciding it? What is the rule about it? What is the how to understand for myself? See, these are basic questions of life that starts catching you, and you have to find the answer. Somebody thinks life is eat, drink, and enjoy. That's the ultimate. See, so that becomes his her philosophy of living, and that becomes the drive of that individual for whole life until there's something abrupt. Somebody thinks life is a responsibility. See, somebody thinks life is a karma, a result of karma of my past lives. So it is like that. Anand Murthy says that no, no, no. Life is evolution of human life is evolution of consciousness to the highest position, and it is only one step behind the cosmic, just one step, just like the river moving, from the mountain tops to the valleys through the river. Finally, it is at the mouth of the ocean. It will one step more becomes the ocean, but it is one step short. It is still the river.
right.
Baba says, Anand Murthy says, humans are standing there, just there. Now, if you take one bucket water from the river for doing picnic beside the river, that one bucket water will never reach the ocean.
Because it's
You will drink,
contained.
you will drink it, you will cook your meals, you will drink it and wash the utensils, finally throw it on the ground. Some of it will be in the ground, some of it will be in the plants, some of it will be in the moisture of the air, some of it will be trapped in our body. It will never reach the ocean. Why? Because we moved it from its natural path, simply because it was diverted from its natural path. So, if the philosophy of living and philosophy of life is not aligned with the natural path of evolution, then it will be going round and round. Okay? So,
Mm.
the philosophy of living is very important. How you live the philosophy. And every human beings live by a philosophy. That is the drive of our life. Anand Murthy gave us a way to go to the highest, state of consciousness to self-realize self-ideology or philosophy of life. And beautiful thing is that he says that anyone can do it. If one can do it, anyone can do it. He was very practical. He was real, like a guru means he was teacher. He was physical level, mental level, and supramental level. All levels he was there to guide you. And his philosophy was very genuinely spiritual and humanistic and neo-humanistic and socially connected with all. That's how it became very. It was a rational spirituality. Social conditions have produced you and it's keeping you alive as you live. Okay? As we live because there is a society around us. There are highways, there are roadways, there are comfort materials, there are evolutionary, there are technology, there are everything. We live because of this, and millions of people have been working for it. So you cannot simply seclude yourself in your own comfort zone and say that I'm very spiritual. Baba said this is, he has named it pseudo-spirituality. You cannot be spiritual in true sense unless you are connected with everything.
I think Guruji used a term called neo-humanism or new
Yes,
humanism.
yes,
So is what you're explaining the definition of that, of a new
yes.
humanity?
To expand the humanism of human beings to a new level,
Hmm.
neo-humanism. So today's human beings are not like the past, like a century past, or even half a century past. Today's human beings are different. You see, for them, new philosophy, all embracing philosophy, philosophy which could be universally, uh, practicable and livable, and bringing more human love to each other. Marga means the way to live.
Right.
Yeah, the way to live which makes you happy, blissful, and also everyone. Like,
This brings us to the close of part one. Here we've explored the philosophical ground of Ananda Marga, the nature of bliss, the expansion of identity through neo-humanism, and the broader vision of human evolution. In part two, we move from philosophy into method, exploring Tantra, mantra, and the discipline structure of meditation.